Welcome to Table for One. I'm the narrator, and in this video, I'll be playing a solo game of the Night Cage Shrieking Hollow expansion. Let's get rolling. Alright, so I'm set up now to play the Night Cage with the Shrieking Hollow expansion. I had intended to release this video next Friday, but I realized this is Friday the 13th, and that seemed like a great opportunity to release a Night Cage video. And I believe actually the last Night Cage video I released was Friday the 13th in October of last year, of 2023, when the Kickstarter for the Shrieking Hollow was new. So it just seems appropriate to release this one today. So don't forget there are chapter videos down in the description if you want to jump to a specific point, but I'm going to walk through how to set up the Night Cage while using this new expansion, and I'm also going to make sure to use the new enemies that were included as well as the pathway tiles. So I'm just going to try and include as much new stuff as I can, and I fully expect I am going to get destroyed in this game. I'll be annihilated for sure, but I'll just try and put, like I said, as much new stuff. I'll walk through what the setup looks like, and then if you watch the unboxing video, I have since successfully gotten all of the components of the Night Cage and the Shrieking Hollow expansion into the base game box. So I will put that at the end of this video if you want to see how I did that. So you can either stick around after the playthrough or you can jump to it in the chapters. But let's get into the setup right now. So the first thing we're going to do is take all of the pathway tiles from the base game and place them here. And they're mostly, there's a bunch of four-way intersections with no cracks. There's a bunch of three-way intersections that are mostly without cracks, a couple that are cracked, and then a bunch of straightaways that are cracked as well. So we're going to take those, put them face down, so they're all pit side up so we can't see what's what. And now we're going to add in the 13 new tiles from the Shrieking Hollow expansion. So there's 5 of these cracked four-way intersections and 8 cracked three-way intersections. So we're going to add those upside down as well. And now we're going to just try and give these a really good shuffle. Okay, so that's pretty well mixed. We're going to take 10 of these tiles and set them aside. 4, 6, 8, 10. So these will be the starting tiles once we play the game. But now with what's remaining, now is the time to add in the wax eaters, and I'm playing with a 4-prisoner game. So that means we're going to add 12 wax eaters. So I've got them here, so I place them all face down into this pile. And then if you're playing with any other special monsters, you would add them now as well. So I'm going to use the light eaters, the endbringer, and the path breakers. So the light eaters, we're going to add 4 of them. So these go face down as well. For the path breakers, there's 2 of those right here. And then for the endbringer, we use the 5 omens. And these came with the base game. So when the 5th omen comes out, that's when the endbringer arrives. So we're going to put those face down here as well. And I also want to play with these path cards. So I've got those here. I'm going to give those a quick shuffle. And there are 3 pathway tiles. So I'm going to take those tiles and add them into this pile of tiles as well. And they're just going to get mixed in there. So we'll set this to the side. And here are the 3 pathway tiles with that matching symbol, again with pits on the back. So now we're going to give this whole thing a shuffle, and then we're roughly going to put it in 4 stacks, or as close as we can get to 4 even stacks. So give me just a second to shuffle these and then stack them up. And these are pretty even stacks, so I've got stacks of 21, 21, 21, and 20. But your numbers may vary depending on which monsters you're adding in, or if you're playing with the pathway tiles or omens. So depending on how you're playing, that'll affect how many stacks you've got, or how many you have in each stack. And so now I've got some other tiles we're going to add in. We've got keys, or in this case watched keys, shrieks, and gates. So to each of these stacks, we're going to add 1 gate, so that they're sort of distributed throughout the stack here. There are 6 shrieks. We're going to add 1 of those to each stack, and there'll be 2 remaining. And Watched keys replace the base game keys, and they just have some iconography to remind you that the other is watching them. So we're going to put one of those in each stack. And we've got 3 left over. So we've got 3 more watched keys and 2 shrieks. So let's mix those up and distribute those as evenly as possible across these 4 stacks. Oops, with any extra going into one of the middle stacks. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we got an extra here. We'll put it right there. So we are getting to the towards the end of this process. I'm going to put the candle holder right here, and now we're going to take each of these stacks and shuffle them individually. So you don't mix them together. Just give them a little bit of a shuffle, because those pieces we just added on the top, you don't want them to be all together. So you don't want to always know that your shriek and your gate and your key are going to come out at the same time. I might have to, I was hoping I can sort of shuffle them like cards, but I don't think I can. I might have to pile shuffle these one at a time. So give me just a moment to do that. And then after each stack is shuffled, I'll add it to the candle stack here. And now we take our stack of 10 starting tiles that we set aside earlier. We know that these are all pathways. There's no monsters, there's no gates, there's no keys, no special tiles. And these go on the top of the stack. But this stack is super tall right now. It's a little bit over the candle stack already, so I'll just set those next to the stack. And so now that I'm done sort of shuffling stuff around, I can place the nerve tokens here. And then each prisoner starts with 1 nerve token. 2, 3, 4. It's really more than I need here. That's okay. I like the little pile. But yeah, each prisoner starts with 1 nerve token. That's something I did not realize for quite a while I was playing this game, and it was making it more difficult. But that being said, this is maybe a good time to say that I've made rules mistakes probably every time I've ever played this game. For whatever reason, I think it's a me thing, but I have a hard time with this one. So if you do see any rules errors, let me know in the comments, and I will make sure to put those in the description if I really blunder something. So each player is also going to get their starting tile, or each prisoner. It's just a 1-player game. It's me. And then we'll use this token here to keep track of which prisoner's turn it is. So we'll go in color order. If you can see the color red, yellow, green, and purple. So blue's not in this game. So we'll start with red. And yeah, we're ready to begin now. So red is going to place their starting tile. Let's put it here. So red wakes up here, and we're going to light the 2 areas that are lit. So we've got a crumbling 4-way intersection and a non-crumbling 4-way intersection. And yellow will start next. I guess I'll get in the habit of doing this. And I'll put yellow, I don't know, maybe here we'll explore a different direction. So we'll draw 2 more tiles. So we've got a 3-way intersection, or a T intersection. And on the other side, another T intersection. Let's go this way. Why not? So green will be next. And let's start green over here. And don't forget, they're not that far away from each other, because these boards do wrap around top to bottom and left to right. Although the hollow board is a little different. The hollow wraps around left and right, but there is a bottom and a top. But anyway, green will start here. And we've got a crumbling T intersection. We can go like that. And a crumbling straightaway right there. And purple is the 4th prisoner. Let's start purple here. We can maybe connect a few things. All right, so a crumbling T intersection. A lot of crumbling pieces start here. We'll connect purple and green that way. And then a non-crumbling T intersection. And we'll connect like this. Okay, so now we're really ready for our first turn, and we're going to start with red. And for red's first turn, I'm actually going to stay. So when we're lit and we stay, we gain 1 nerve up to a max of 2 nerve. And then this is a crumbling tile. So we flip it over and it becomes a pit. And we also must discard one tile from the top. So we know, since we still have 2 more starting tiles, it's just going to be a pathway. So this is a T intersection. So we'll just toss this over here. And normally now in this expansion, when a pit forms on the main board, the other advances in the hollow. But this only begins the turn after all prisoners have left their crumbling start tiles. So because we still have 3 prisoners on their crumbling start tiles, the formation of this pit does not cause the other to move yet. And so red falls into the hollow and needs to land in the lowest unoccupied row. So we'll just land right here in the middle. We're still lit, and let's draw tiles. So we have a T intersection here. We might as well point it like this. And now we need to light what's around us. So we'll start drawing from the top of the stack. Oh, we have a watched key. That's pretty early. Let's put it there. Let's put it here. So that way if I draw a monster, it won't wrap around and be an issue. So we've got a T intersection here. We might as well face that like this. And then one more. And it is a wax eater. So we place that right there. So as soon as red moves, that wax eater is going to attack. But if I move up, I'll be out of the line of fire there. So that worked out okay. And I did do this a little out of order, but it didn't affect anything. I need to remove the unlit tiles that red has vacated. So none of these are lit by any prisoner now. So these are gone. So the starting tile we'll keep track of. These are just regular tiles. We'll set these all off to the side. And that's it for red. So pretty decent first turn. Yellow is next. And let's have yellow move up. And now this crumbles into a pit. And this is no longer lit by any prisoner, so this is gone. And now we draw new tiles, and there's 2, one for here and one for the other side of this space because it wraps around. So we've got a gate. It's very early for a gate. But because of the new setup rules, we know that there's another gate in the next 25% of the stack, and then the next 25%, and then the bottom 25%. And so, we'll end up letting this gate go, and that's okay. And, and a light eater. So that's one of the new enemies. So here's how you resolve the light eater. The light eaters attack immediately and cause one prisoner who isn't adjacent to any other prisoner to go lights out. And that's chosen by the active player. So always me, but if this was like a 4-player game, yellow would be picking which prisoner not next to any other prisoners is about to go lights out. And then after resolving this effect, the active player flips the light eater tile and places it as a pit, assuming that the light eater is still lit. So for no particular reason, I know I don't want to pick red. Red's got some stuff going on there. Let's go ahead and pick green. Let's have green go lights out. So that means these other tiles around green now are no longer lit, so these are going to be discarded. These are gone. And we flip green's player board over to the lights outside. And now that we've resolved this effect, because the light eater is still lit, we will flip it over to form a pit. And that is it for yellow's turn. So green is next, and green cannot stay unless they spend a nerve. But I don't know that anything is really going to be gained by staying. So we're going to have green scramble onto this space here. This becomes a pit, and we now need to light this. But I guess now we discard this because it's no longer visible to green. And green lands on a T intersection. That works out okay. And now it's purple's turn. So purple is going to move, and they're going to move down onto this crack tile. So this becomes a pit now. This is no longer illuminated. And now we can light what's next to purple. It's another T intersection. Let's go maybe this way. I don't know if it matters. And purple and green are now adjacent to each other. So purple can reach through that passageway and relight green. So now let's reveal these tiles next to green. Oh, so we've got a shriek. So it's the first one of those. So we're just going to place that on the board, and it stays on the board even if it's not lit. And then after we see the third one of those, then we'll trigger the other. So now the next tile, okay, is just a straightaway like this. And we can flip green's player board back over now to the lit side. So that wasn't too bad. And now we go back to red. So we definitely want red to move up and grab that watched key. So let's do that. So red immediately grabs the key. That's pretty quick to get a key. And that triggered, the movement triggered the Wax Eater. So the Wax Eater attacks, but there's nothing going up and down, and then it hits all three of these spaces, but it doesn't hit red. So then the Wax Eater is removed after attacking. So that went okay. Where does this go? Right there. And now this tile is no longer lit, so that is removed. And now instead of lighting these other passageways, because this was a watched key, all prisoners are now ejected from the hollow and need to land on the main board. So red is going to be on the main board somewhere. These pieces are no longer lit, so they are gone. We'll put the watched key here. And this is just so we can track how many keys have gone by. And now red needs to commit to any unlit space on this board to land on. So let's land right here next to this gate, whatever that may be. Oh, and it's a Wax Eater. Okay, so red lands on this Wax Eater now. So red's at least got a couple nerve. Let's spend one nerve to block. So we only need to discard 2 tiles instead of 3. And we have, oh geez, a 4-way path and a Light Eater. So if I understand the rules correctly, we can just place this on this board. It doesn't trigger. And then this gets discarded. And now red is lights out. So we've got to flip this over to the lights outside. And red needs to scramble onto a new space. Let's scramble here. And now that we've resolved that, the same Wax Eater also wrapped around and hit yellow. So yellow's got to do the same thing, but we're not going to have yellow spend a nerve. So we're going to discard 3 tiles from the stack for yellow. And we've got just T intersections, okay? So let's flip over yellow's player board as well. Yellow is lights out, and yellow needs to scramble. And we'll have yellow scramble up onto the same gate space here. And now none of this is lit, so these all go away. We have one starting tile there. Let's not lose that for easy cleanup. And one was a Light Eater, and this goes away too. And yeah, that was a heck of a turn. So now it is yellow. At least we got a key out of it, but let's have yellow, I don't know, I guess move up, scramble up. So we'll draw a tile. Oh no, and it's another Wax Eater. That's rough. So yellow and red are each going to get hit again by a Wax Eater. Luckily, it can't reach across these gaps, so it's not going to hit green. And I kind of want to hold on to the nerve I have. So each of them has to lose another 3 tiles. So we've got a T, and an Omen. That's important to remember. And then a Wax Eater, a T, and a 4-way intersection. So we lost a lot of tiles there. Although I'm now realizing I did make a rules error previously. When yellow first got hit, was up here and got hit by the Wax Eater, they did not need to scramble. They could have stayed there. So then on their next move, they could have just moved onto this gate rather than move upward and trigger this Wax Eater. But I've kind of gone too far, so I'm just going to keep playing. But only red needed to scramble. You only have to scramble when you're on a Wax Eater, not when you've just been hit. So anyway, we'll play it how it was. My mistake. So yellow is on a Wax Eater and does need to scramble now. So we might as well scramble onto this space to try and get closer to green and maybe relight. And okay, we've got a path card. So we just set this aside for a moment. Oh, there's not a spot for that, huh? Okay, well, we'll set it right there. And now we draw a new card, or a new tile, and we have a key. Okay, so now this Wax Eater goes away. Red does not need to scramble. Red can stay. They took the 3-hit, or the 3-tile penalty, but because yellow's on a key, we may immediately grab it. And if anyone was in the hollow, they would be ejected, but nobody's in the hollow. So again, a heck of a turn. So now, we've got green. And green is going to move over this way to relight yellow. So green doesn't actually light anything new, and nothing loses its illumination. If this were any other tile, it would, but the shriek stays on the board permanently until 3 shrieks have been revealed. So now green can relight yellow, and now that yellow is lit, we'll do this. Now we can illuminate these spaces. So let's draw. We've got another gate. So this is gate number 2. Let's throw it, here, I suppose. That should be safe. And now, another omen. That's 2 of those. And a T intersection. I want to be careful about making things too connected. And then one more T intersection. We'll go this way. Okay, not too bad for green. So we've got 2 keys out of 4. We've seen our second gate. Oh, and I forgot I drew this this path tile. So from this deck now, I draw the top card. I think that should have been done on yellow's turn, but that's okay. And we have Flint Shard. So this says, the sparks can save you, but they also draw unwanted attention. So what this card can do is the prisoner who activates this card may relight without being adjacent to other prisoners. That's pretty cool. But the cost in order to do this is you have to spend 1 nerve, and the first tile the prisoner who activates this card places after relighting must be a wax eater from the discard. So you can relight, but there will be a wax eater. So let's just put that, I don't know, here. So that's available to anyone. So even if I wasn't playing solo, if I was playing with other people, that's available to anyone who wants to pay the activation cost. And it is a one-time thing. It's available to one person. After it's used, it's done. So that's very handy. And now it is purple's turn. And I think I'm going to have purple, purple's lit. I think I'm going to have purple hop into this adjacent pit. So now that purple's moved, the next step is pit's form. So this was a crack tile, so it turns into a pit. Now a pit has just formed on the main board, and there are no lit prisoners in the hollow. So that is the trigger for the other to start moving. And this is a nice visual touch here. You can see these icons here with the faces or the heads. That's where the other's face or head ends, like as it starts to move up the track. So it moves up one time right there. And now purple lands in the hollow in the lowest unoccupied row. So we'll just, again, go right in the middle. And let's draw. All right, so we land on a T intersection. We may as well make it face up. And now we can draw a few more. Another T. I guess we'll go like that. Ooh, a wax eater. Let's put that here and then see if I can avoid it by moving up. Oh, another pathway tile, okay. A 4-way intersection, crumbling. Interesting, okay. So that is it for purple's turn, or nearly so. Now we can remove unlit. So this was the starting tile. This is not lit. This is not lit. This is yellow's lighting those. That's red. And then this stays. Okay, so these are discarded. And let's draw our second path card. So we have Trail of Teeth. And I'm going to say these cards are really thematic. They're pretty cool. So the flavor text here says, someone left markers at great cost. Was it worth it? So the effect is you can take 4 standard passage tiles from the discard. I guess the bag that I've been putting them in, been cleaning as I go. Take 4 standard passage tiles from the discard and return them to the tile stack anywhere as long as they're not sequential. And the activation cost to use this is 3 nerve token from any prisoners. So any one prisoner can only have 2 nerve normally. So collectively they need to spend 3 to make that happen. So I can definitely see that being pretty handy. All right, so that was purple's turn. Now we're back to red. And red is still not lit. So I think I'm going to have red, because red lights out. Red has to spend a nerve in order to stay, but I'm going to have red stay. So it's yellow's turn now, and here's a question I cannot find an answer to in the book, and I would think it'd be a little more obvious, but the new watched key tiles, are they cracked tiles? I'm going to say yes. I know that the key tiles in the original were cracked, but just the artwork on this one is a little bit different, and so I'm not 100% sure, but it doesn't make sense to me that it wouldn't be cracked, because you can't just have all of your prisoners run over the same tile to pick up keys. There's only one key there, right? So that's all a long way of saying I think they're cracked. So I'm going to have yellow go ahead and move onto this gate here, and assuming that this key tile is cracked, it now forms a pit. And because a pit formed on the main board, normally the other would advance, but purple is lit. So as long as there's a lit prisoner in the hollow, it prevents the other from advancing in that way. So we don't have to deal with that right now. So now we look for what's not lit. And this is not, and this is not. So these get discarded. And now we can light the other spaces around yellow. Okay, we've got a T intersection that's crumbling. Boy, oh boy, where do I want that? Oh, I got myself into a scenario I don't like. And another T. All right, that worked out all right. And now yellow can relight red. So red is lit again. So now we can light the 3 spaces around red. So we've got a T intersection. I want to put that right here just to make sure I don't get any monsters that wrap around and hit yellow again, because I'm trying to keep these gates lit, if that wasn't obvious yet. So next is, we've got another light eater. Let's put that here. And so one prisoner who is not adjacent to any other prisoners needs to go lights out. So it's either got to be green or purple. It can't be red or yellow because they're not isolated. And I think I want to keep a lit prisoner in the hollow. That's pretty useful. So it's going to be green. Green is going to go lights out. So now this space here is no longer lit. And we need to flip this over for green. And now that that effect is done, this turns into a pit. And we still need to draw one more for red. And we have a watched key. Okay. So I got to say, so far this is pretty wild. So that was yellow's turn. Green is up next, and green has got to either spend a nerve to stay, in which case this turns into a pit, or they've got to move, and they might as well just move into this pit and fall into the hollow. So let's do this. Let's move here. This becomes a pit because it was crumbling, and again, this would cause the other to advance, except that there is a lit prisoner down there already, so that prevents the advance. And now green has to land in an unoccupied space in the lowest unoccupied row. So we can't land on this intersection here. We either need to land here or here. That's the lowest unoccupied row. And I don't want to land right next to the wax here because that will trigger it, and then purple will go lights out, and green's going to get hit. So that's not good. So let's land here. Let's commit to that spot. Oh, and it's another wax eater anyway. So that's rough. So we'll take the full 3-tile penalty. So we lose a 4-way intersection, a wax eater, and a straightaway tile. And then green needs to scramble onto an existing space. So we'd better scramble, onto this one. And then this wax eater's attacked, so it goes away. It doesn't hit purple or anyone else. And now that green is on that space, they're adjacent to purple, so they actually get relit. And now we can light up the spaces around them. This is taking some turns. This is wild. So we got to draw for green. A 4-way intersection. Where do we want that? Let's keep going up maybe. Oh, a shriek. Okay, let me set this down and double check the rule book. I think it has to go on the main board. I don't think it can stay in the hollow. Yes, if a shriek is revealed in the hollow, place it onto the main board connected to any open passage tile on the board, and then continue illuminating other tile spaces as normal. And gosh, this board's a real mess. Let's, I don't know, put it here? Or, I don't know, we'll put it here. I don't know if that really matters that much. And now we can keep illuminating around green, which is what we were doing. Okay, and a key, a watched key. So let's put it, who's moving next? Purple is? Yeah, we'll put that there. And what's the last tile? A 4-way intersection. Okay. This has been a wild ride. And so it's purple's turn next. I was going to have purple move up, but that space is now blocked by green. I don't want purple to move right and trigger the wax eater. I don't want purple to move into the wax eater, so I'm just going to have purple stay. And so we have to discard a tile and then gain a nerve. So we'll gain the nerve, and we're losing a straightaway. And now we go to red, and I also want red to stay, to keep not just the gate, but also this other key illuminated. So let's gain the nerve, and we lose another straightaway tile. And I'm going to have, on yellow's turn, yellow stay as well. I'm trying to build up some nerves so maybe I can pay for some of these activation costs. So we get another nerve, discard another tile, and it's a T intersection. And now it's to green. So green is going to move, and green is going onto the watched key tile right here. So green immediately grabs this key, and then all prisoners in the hollow are ejected to the main board immediately, and we'll go in turn order. So we start with green. So green has to commit to any unoccupied space, and we're going to pick this one for green. So let's draw the tile, and it's a T intersection. That works out pretty nicely, I think. We'll go right there. And then purple is the only one without a key, so let's commit to this space right next to this key tile. Oh, it's another key. That is wild. So purple lands here, gains this key. So all prisoners have a key now, and man, we've got gates. This is looking good. And now that both prisoners have fallen, we can remove all these tiles from the hollow. So this wax eater, this watched key, none of these are illuminated anymore. So these go away. And now we need to illuminate what's around the prisoners who just landed. So we need to illuminate around green first. We've got another T intersection. Let's just cut it off that way. And now we need to illuminate 2 spaces around purple. Oh, and we've got the third shriek. Okay, so now I think the other has been summoned. So yes, this shriek, I guess I place it. Let's place it here. And now all shrieks are discarded unless they are still illuminated. So no one's illuminating this one or this one, so they're discarded. This one's still illuminated, so it becomes a pit. And now the other advances 1 time, so it comes up to here. So it's getting closer to escaping from the hollow and going after the main board, which would really be a problem for me. We don't want it to do that. Now I need to continue illuminating spaces, so there's still this space here for purple, and it is a straightaway. And this is going to be a race. Okay, so it is purple's turn now, and I need purple to move towards a gate. So I'm going to have purple move left, but I'm pretty sure now that this turns into a pit. Pits form. And because a pit formed without any lit prisoner in the hollow, the other advances again. So now it is up to here, and one more advancement will put it on the main board, and that'll be a problem. And so now we discard tiles. This is no longer lit. Neither is this or this. And one of them was a shriek, okay. And now we need to illuminate this tile here, which is a T intersection. And let's put it like that. So red is up next. Red is just going to stay and take a nerve. Yeah, and I need to discard a tile. And it's a gate. All right. And yellow is up next. Yellow is going to move down to here onto this gate. And let's see if anything is no longer illuminated. So yellow is lighting this, this, and this. But these two are still lit by green. This one is still lit by purple. So none of those go away. And green is up next, and man, I wish green was my one prisoner who didn't have just 1 nerve left, because I'm going to have green move down, and then I'm going to spend this nerve to move a second time. And if I had another nerve, I would get down onto that gate. But the way this worked out might be hugely problematic. I'm not sure. So what is no longer lit? This is not lit, and this is not lit. And I think that's it. And so now we go to purple. And I do not want purple to fall into the hollow. That would not be great right now. And obviously I want to get everyone on the gate. So let's have purple move onto this gate. Now this, again, assuming this watched key also crumbles into a pit. There are no lit prisoners in the hollow, so that's going to cause the other to escape from the hollow and onto the main board. So when the other goes onto the main board, it wants to attack the next player in turn order. So it's going to look to attack red. So let's go ahead and just for fun, we'll flip these tiles over. I'm going to have it come this direction, and we overlay it 1 tile space there. Okay, and now at the end of every subsequent turn, it is going to advance 1 length or 2 rows. So I need to wrap this up real fast. So you know what I'll do? I'll spend 1 of purple's nerve to move again. Let's get onto that gate. I think that's the only way that this has a chance of working. So red is next. Red is going to move. And before red moves, this is no longer lit, so that goes away. And this is no longer lit, that goes away. And this was a watched key. Okay, so red's turn. Red is moving up, and that's all red is going to do. So now this is going to advance 1 full length. Oh my goodness. And now the turn passes to yellow. Yellow is going to advance, and now we have all 4 prisoners with keys on the same gate. And so they're going to turn those keys simultaneously and get out just before, literally just before this thing advances to consume them. So that's the closest thing to a photo finish you can get in this game. That is pretty awesome. So I got to say, this was my first game playing with this expansion, and that was a really exciting finish. Some of that is luck, and some of that is owed to the fact that I screwed up that one movement earlier with yellow when I scrambled and I shouldn't have. But I think, certainly to the best of my ability, I played the rest of the rules right. And I guess regardless, I don't care if I got something wrong, because that was awesome. That was a really cool finish. That was exciting. So as far as this playthrough goes, we didn't see any path breakers this time. We didn't get all the omens out, so we didn't see the Endbringer come out. But that's how it goes. And then I didn't actually end up using either of these pathway cards for their abilities, but they were still pretty cool. I was glad to have them. I'll definitely always use those in the deck. Those are fun. So yeah, gotta say, out of all the stuff in the expansion, I think I was most excited for these pathway cards and just the randomizers of the Night Terror cards to pick which enemies you want to include in any given game. But I really like this sideboard and the other. I didn't think I was going to enjoy it quite as much as I did, but I really did. So I'm glad that I've got it and that I used it, and I'll probably include it from now on. But hey, that's just me. Let me know what you think down in the comments. And of course, like I said, I'm sure I made some rules mistakes. We'll see. And you just let me know what they were, and I'll mention those in the description so other people know as well. But this has been a special Friday the 13th episode of Table for One, playing the Night Cage with the Shrieking Hollow expansion. If you like this sort of content, let me know, and you can let me know by subscribing to the channel, liking the video, sharing it, and just telling me in the comments. That's all great. And other than that, I will, as promised, put a section in here at the end about how to pack all of this stuff into the base game box without any lid lift. So if you're interested in that, stick around. All right, so let's get this thing put away. So this is the base game box, and we're going to start by putting the main board in the bottom, like so. And we'll follow that up with the 2 manuals for the base game and for the expansion. And we're putting these pieces in because all these pieces basically take the entire size of the box, so you've got to get those in first. And then we'll take the hollow board, and we'll scoot it up top, so there's a little bit of space down here at the bottom. And now that's where we're going to add this candle stack. And so you can see this punch out here, or this base stand. We're going to line that up into this bottom slot here as best we can. And depending on how you lay it in there, this may stick up just a hair over the lip of the box here. But if you press it, then it doesn't. And so, I don't know, it's super close. But that worked out for me, so I didn't have to disassemble this every time, and it's not going to damage anything. So let's get the rest of the components in here. Now let's get some of the larger cardboard components. So we've got this discard board, and then we have the tile for the dirge, the 3 tiles for the other, and the second discard board here. It doesn't really matter what order, but all those are sort of larger pieces. And then we've got this player token that gets passed around, can fit there as well. We've got our 2 decks of cards. I've got the pathway cards and the Night Terror cards, so we'll throw those in that corner. And then I've got the Shrieking Hollow reminder cards. I didn't really use these. I just kind of referenced everything out of the rule book, but we'll just put that under the back of the candle there. These are the player cards. Again, doesn't really matter. We can put those back there. You can take your assembled Endbringer and just put it here in the candle area. And that's also a fine place for other smaller components like keys and your player tokens. I don't know about if you've got, I think there's like metal figures. It shouldn't be really much bigger. I don't know how any of this works with acrylic tiles though. If you've got the acrylic tiles, you're kind of on your own. I didn't go that route. I kind of thought they'd be too tough to shuffle. But then all my punch outs are in 4 bags. I've got just a bag of nerve tokens here. Bag of all the good stuff, so pathways, gates, keys, plus the starting tiles, those go there, or wherever. There's plenty of room. It's pretty loose. Got a bag of all the different monsters. It's a bag of bad stuff. That bag's a little bit tight. I should probably get a bigger one. And then a bag of just all of the regular tiles, and there's a little bit of air in there. Let me let it out. There we go. And that fits just fine. Then we can put the lid on this whole thing. And mine sits right now just fine with no lid lift. That little candle could use a little adjustment sometimes. Sometimes just take it out, put it back in. Sometimes I've got a little bit of lift, but it's just enough where if you were to put another box on top of it, nothing's going to get damaged. It's really just compressing the rule books on the bottom. So you don't really need to be too worried about it. But right now I have no lift at all. So that's what I was looking for. So this was a reboxing of the Night Cage with the Shrieking Hollow all in the base game box. And this was my first playthrough of the Shrieking Hollow on this channel or otherwise. It's the first time I ever played it. And it was like, that was such a great finish. I'm still pretty excited about it. So I'm going to be riding that high for a little bit. That was super fun. But anyway, if you're still here, please consider subscribing to the channel, liking the video, sharing it with somebody else who might enjoy it, and leaving some comments so I know what you think. I obviously had a great time this week on Table for One. I hope you did too. I will see you in the next video.